Welcome back to On the Job, presented by ADP. Working remotely can have tremendous benefits for many employees, but especially those that are parents or caregivers and may have a child who is sick and home from school, need to do school pickups, or simply need that extra hour or so in the day it takes to commute to and from the office. Many parents do want to work remotely, and for many, it can be the difference between remaining in the workforce or leaving it altogether. Joining us now, Sara Redington, Director of Strategy and Communications for the Miles Foundation, and Sadie Funk, Director of the Best Place for Working Parents. Ladies, welcome to the show. Such a pleasure to have you. Sara, let me start with you. Why is it so important for businesses to focus internally on family-friendly policies? This is not something we discussed just 2 years ago.
That's right. Well, family-friendly policies not only benefit working parents, but they also benefit businesses' bottom line. Today, you've got 80% of working parents and 83% of millennials who are saying they leave one job for another with better family-friendly supports. So not only is there a market for these types of policies for businesses that want to attract and retain top talent, but we know there's a quantifiable ROI for the businesses that actually do implement those policies. An example is remote work. A study found that 50%, they reduced attrition by 50% and actually increased productivity by 13% for those businesses that implemented remote work policies. So this is what Best Place for Working Parents is all about, really lifting up the policies that help working parents come back to the workforce and also benefit business productivity as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's the evolution we needed to see. Sadie, you've been successful in implementing these types of policies in the workplace. How can an organization take the steps to do the same thing?
I'd highlight 4 simple steps. The first is, most importantly, check in. Make sure of all the benefits you're thinking of adding, is this a priority for your staff and your team? And if so, next, support your supervisors. Are they feeling comfortable with the switch to virtual supervision? And if not, ensure to outline opportunities for them to develop the skill set necessary to supervise in a virtual space. And check in with them and make sure they're supported along the journey. Third, ensure that you're equipping the team. Do they have a laptop, a home printer and scanner available? Do they have high-speed internet? If not, you may think about adding an internet stipend to ensure that everybody's able to have, easy access to the team. And then lastly, don't forget about the importance of connection. So offering opportunities for the team to continue to connect and collaborate, whether that be, weekly Zoom happy hours on Friday afternoons where everyone brings a beverage of their choice, or opportunity to have access to some shared workspace, even monthly on-site staff meetings. All of these things help the team to feel connected and secure while moving to a remote workspace.
And I'm sure very valued. I think those are great factors. Sara, how does this help keep working parents in the workforce? Because we keep talking about the Great Resignation.
Absolutely. But we know that there are a handful of policies that have not only helped working parents re-enter the workforce, but stay there. We actually surveyed 825 working parents last year to ask what they needed to return to work post-pandemic. And not surprisingly, the top 5 things they were looking for: flexibility, paid time off, child care assistance, remote work, and parental leave. But today we're still at a 33-year low in female workforce participation. And the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank told us that the single most important factor to recovering from this pandemic is getting people back to work in a widespread way. So family-friendly policies are more important today than ever. And yes, they're about supporting working parents and working moms, but it's also about businesses' profitability and our economy as a whole.
And retention at the end of the day, because we know how many companies are struggling with that. Sadie, what kind of impact have you seen as a result, a direct result of this policy?
Exactly what you were saying, attraction and retention. So there's really 3 benefits I would highlight of implementing remote work opportunities. The first is attraction and retention. It opens up a larger pool of really skilled talent, those who are maybe looking to avoid the morning commute, or those who want to ensure they're home when their child gets home from school, or take them every day at 8 a.m. Additionally, when we think about retention, this really keeps you competitive from employees that have wandering eyes, as well as, for example, mothers who've just returned to work after leave. The ability to stay home, be able to breastfeed in the privacy of your own home, really creates a sense of loyalty and allows you to retain your key top talent. Second, I would highlight is productivity. As Sara already highlighted, for those who have implemented work from home policies, they're seeing 13% increase in performance. That's huge for businesses. And then lastly, and most obviously probably, is the financial savings that come to businesses who implement remote work policies and no longer have to pay for so much office space and the costs and expenses that go on with that.
Sarah, why is this invaluable for so many organizations out there?
Well, parents are a growing majority of today's workforce. Today, only 27% of families have the father as the sole breadwinner. So for those businesses of all sizes and across all industries that are competing in a red hot labor market post-pandemic, those that are offering family-friendly policies and supports have a clear competitive advantage in the race on talent. But what's even more, those that implement those family-friendly policies benefit on the back end as well. So those that have family-friendly supports are benefited by employees that are more engaged, more likely to stay, and more productive in the workplace. So bottom line, why is this critical for business? Because family-friendly is business-friendly.
So Sadie, what do you think are the long-term repercussions for organizations that may be slower or even reluctant to offer this kind of flexibility to its employees?
I think they're going to have access to a limited talent pool initially and for the long term, and as well as they're going to be facing issues with retaining some of their top talent who are looking for increased flexibility and remote work opportunities. Look, during the pandemic, many employers, if not all employers, made adjustments and they put out a host of policies that were really designed to support, working parents first and foremost, but generally the workforce overall. And we're now at this critical junction that I call the great shakeout, which is we're sitting back and seeing what's going to stay, what's going to go. And there's this give and take happening between employers and employees. And those who are at the forefront of this, those employers that are stepping back and saying, you know what, some of these benefits we put in place really make sense and really supported the key employees that we want to keep on staff. Those who are quickly adapting, they're going to experience higher retention rates. They're going to have access to a ever-growing candidate of employees. And most importantly, they're going to see their productivity and loyalty increase.
Ladies, such an interesting conversation. We really appreciate your time. Sara Redington, Director of Strategy and Communications for the Miles Foundation, and Sadie Funk, Director of the Best Place for Working Parents. Thank you again.